ready for Draper Radio.
Hey guys, it's Mr. Blaze.
Hey there, season pass holders. It's Mr. Swicky.
Oh.
I always like to throw a little intro in there.
Yes, very slick.
We got a couple of great guest hosts today too, Mr. Blaze.
Trifecta.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
You go first.
I guess I'll go first. I'm Dan. I'm also a season pass holder.
Yes.
Excellent.
I'm Wade, Mr. Abbott. I'm a longtime season pass holder.
Awesome. Cool.
I'm Tim Abbott. I'm a senior, and I'm also a season pass holder.
There you go.
That's what we're going with today.
Excellent.
Awesome. We got the Abbott family on. Maybe some listeners will guess what we're talking about today with season passes.
I
You a
think.
season pass holder, Mr. Blaze?
Uh,
Escape? 6
no,
months. Oh,
I am not. No,
Ostracized.
I do like getting taken for a ride though.
There you go. Okay.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. Today we're talking about roller coasters and amusement parks. It's June. We got to get the ball rolling.
Oh yes.
Going up the track, so to speak, and get ready for the summertime. So
Oh yes.
it's going to be pretty epic.
It's going to be a Wally World sort of experience, I think.
That's an old
For sure.
reference.
I don't know if these guys have seen that.
Oh.
Quick reference check. No?
Yeah, we might have to educate them in that.
As we say too, like, spoiler alert, even though it's what's the age of it?
80s,
Yeah.
It's got to be 80s. Yeah.
Circa like 3 decades ago,
Sure.
you know.
Because that was the second one, wasn't it? It was European Vacation first, was it? Or was
I don't even remember.
Or maybe that was the second one.
Christmas
Yeah.
was Christmas Vacation first. Might have been.
Oh.
I don't even know.
It's like an Abbott Costello here.
Yeah, hey, that's another reference these guys don't get.
Intended fun.
So many of our middle school listeners are turning it off right now. I don't know what these guys are talking about.
Mute.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, we can get this conversation back on track.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yes.
There we go.
Excellent.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Epic. Yeah, so I don't know if we really discussed the docket for today, Mr. Blaze, but I thought it'd be cool just for all of us to discuss the beauty of amusement parks, roller coasters, your highlights, the things that made you throw up, so we'll tell the listeners to avoid
Okay.
those.
Yeah.
That's my first thing. I'll just start by saying I'm going to contribute the least because I can't do roller coasters anymore. It
No.
made me so sick now that I'm older and vertigo sets in.
Yeah.
I loved them in my 20s and 30s, but now it's done. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We might have to ease you back into it. I think we could get you back
Okay.
used to it.
Right.
if I could fit in the kiddie car one, they
There you go.
Right.
keep kicking me out at 6 Flags. Sir, this is for 800.
Yeah.
You don't understand my inner ear and
Yeah. Remember, like your little kid, you're hoping to be as tall as to hit
Yes,
that mark,
yes.
right? And now
it's
it's
the
just like you just go over and put like shoes on your knees and
Yeah.
walk over there.
like, listen,
You don't even understand where I'm at here.
I know I have a full beard, but hear me out.
It's all height related. All height. You
Yeah,
can
that's
get
true.
that height, meet that height. That's fine. And there are a few that I know I haven't ridden that I wanted to ride that I'm too tall to ride.
A lot of them, they have the rules where you gotta have a kid below a certain height, and then you just
Oh.
steal a kid.
So I actually used to
okay.
rent these guys out
Steal the kid is a crazy
to
thing.
my friends who wanted to get that coaster
Sure.
credit.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
talk a little bit about that too.
Okay. Yeah.
But if they wanted to ride that kiddie coaster, that you needed to have a kid.
Yeah.
So when these
Right.
guys were short enough, I would charge $5 for friends of mine to ride a coaster. Yeah.
Did you have them give you like a shoe so they'd have to come back to you? You know.
I think they actually got to keep the money, but
Yeah.
Right. Nice. Earn their keep for their due service, and
you guys hated that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
getting
a
the ride.
stranger. Cynic's this weird guy.
They were all fellow coaster enthusiasts, so
Yeah.
we're all three of us are
Right.
roller coaster
Yeah.
enthusiasts.
right. You knew all their handles online, and
Sure.
you got
Probably.
connections.
That was actually going to be my starting question for you guys, because I think Mr. Blaze chatted with you guys. Like, what actually got you so pumped about, like, roller coasters, amusement parks? Just like a instant fan of them, or was it a specific event in your lives, you think?
My wife and I first discovered that we liked them. So after we got married, way back in that previous century, we discovered that we both liked coasters. We weren't. I don't think we were enthusiasts. We saw some TV shows about roller coasters and various parks, we ended up going to a few different parks. We went to Knoebels. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about Knoebels in this.
Give some recommendations.
Cedar Point, which is they call themselves, I think, like the roller coaster capital of the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
They phenomenal park. And my wife and I did a couple of those. Then we discovered American Coaster Enthusiasts and joined that back in probably 2000. Been ACE members since then.
Okay.
And these guys have just grown up in the family. So
Raised in it.
when you were
Forced into it.
you don't even
Poor
remember
guys.
your first roller
Oh,
coaster.
my first roller
Drags
coaster,
on
I
it.
was an infant.
Oh, wow.
I was.
They actually put a seat like a child carrying
So,
seat in there.
That smuggled you onto like a shirt. Like, come on.
Right.
Well, it's the coaster's called Leap the Dips. I don't. Is it still operating? I'm not sure. If
I think it's
operating.
not
I
operating.
think it's
this year.
standing but not operating right now.
Okay.
But it was at the time it was the oldest operating roller coaster in the United States.
Cool.
And yeah, it's very, very gentle. They will actually let not only infants ride it, but dogs are allowed to ride it as well.
No kidding.
As long
So
as they're well behaved.
wow, I've never knew that was even like
I know, right?
like a possibility.
Yeah.
Located at Lakemont Park. Which,
Lakemont Park in Pennsylvania.
And what's the name of the coaster? Say it again. Or
Leap the Dips.
Leap the Dips. Okay.
I was hoping by the end we could assemble like an epic list of recommendations for
Well-
the listeners: the goods, the bads, the uglies, the terrifyings.
Well, technically, I suppose you could claim that Tim rode King Dakar, the tallest,
Yes.
tallest, fastest.
Awesome.
Is it tallest, fastest still?
It's second fastest.
Second fastest,
Second
second fastest now in the world. But at the time, it was the tallest, fastest roller coaster in the world,
Mhm.
and he rode it technically because my wife was pregnant at the time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
our doctor actually, because we're coaster enthusiasts, our doctor actually
Yeah.
let her ride
Wow.
roller coasters
No
only through the first trimester. So nobody
Right.
get angry at her.
Medically
Right.
clear,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was doctor approved. They knew.
Yeah.
She said she would not have let a non roller coaster enthusiast do that.
Sure.
So she was pregnant
Right.
with Tim at the time when we rode that coaster.
So you hitched a ride.
Yep.
We don't include it in his coaster count, though.
If you're,
No.
if you're ever wondering why
No.
I am the way I am, the forces really really rattled me.
I, I blame it all on you.
Is that in? I've heard it in Texas. Is it or
No, that one.
King Dakar, New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay,
Yeah, it's,
gotcha.
Six Flags Great
Okay,
Adventure.
cool. Yeah, we'll compile maybe a nice list on all Mr. Blaze's social medias.
Yeah.
The epic ones. I'll share the ones that I threw up after, so
Okay.
avoid those ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be like your first one. So
Yeah, I was good for a while. My introduction was '94, the comic Great Escape.
yeah.
Oh,
I saw the advertisements as a kid.
Right.
You know, they're constructing it now, and they would show going over that first drop. And I remember telling my dad, like, I can handle that, no problem. Because obviously on a video, on a VHS, you don't feel the drop in the G-force and the
No.
speed. So I went on it, and I was like, almost throwing up. But I was like, that was my first epic roller coaster as a young man. '94, I was 10 years old. Yeah.
10 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now you're making me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great
I mean,
ride,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. The old wood. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Vintage wooden one. Yep.
right. We can have a whole sidebar about,
Sure.
like types of coasters
Oh,
and
yeah.
preferences of those. I think my first one, the whole park, and it would fall under, what did I learn? A regional theme park, I guess you'd call it. Like that'd be like Six Flags, like there's and then you have Disney World, which is its own, like sort of amusement park. But this one was in, you ever hear of it? It was in, I don't know the name of it, but I know the location of it. It was, I knew it was going to happen. Cateros Creek. There was a small, I don't even know if you could classify it as an amusement park, but I remember my mom worked at a place, was Garden Way, and they built Troy Belt and stuff, rototillers, lawnmowers, and it was at a roller coaster there. It wasn't really anything, but I was probably about 10 or so, and I was like, this is pretty cool. It got me kind of excited. Then it wasn't until later when I went to like Great Escape, now Six Flags, I feel like, right?
Six Flags The Great Escape. Yeah, they still
Yeah.
retain that name.
Yeah.
They still tied in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this I'm in like the Storytown era,
I know.
like of that, and that secret cut through to the mountains.
Yeah,
It's still there. It's still there.
Ghost Town, oh, yeah.
Yeah, the ghost town. But yeah, was it Steam and Demon?
Oh yeah.
was my first wow,
Yeah.
this is. I mean, it wasn't it's a quick one,
Sure.
Yeah.
but
Maybe a minute.
I mean, the nice thing about these parks versus the Disney World mega parks, if you will, is that you could just boom, even on a fairly busy time, you could just keep going, hit it as many times as you want if that was your favorite one.
Yeah,
versus
right.
at Disney, you'd be like, I'll do that maybe tomorrow
Wait time
again.
6 hours. And,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and you're just absolutely drenched,
Yeah.
and it's always 1,000 degrees in Florida.
Well, Danny, Steamin' Demon was your first upside down coaster, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we think it's
Yeah.
we think it's my wife's, their mom's first upside down coaster as well.
Oh no!
So
way.
you share something with Mr. Blaze
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that was the first I would consider legit.
Okay.
It wasn't until college where I went to. Oh my gosh, so long ago, in New Jersey.
Great Adventure,
Yeah.
Action Park.
Not
coasters.
actually.
Oh, man.
We're not going to go down that
What's the
tangent.
what's the major? I should know this now, having done the research. Is it in Ridgewood, New Jersey? I'm trying to blanking here, but it was
It
was one of these crazy corkscrew ones, and infinite 3, 4, or 5 loops, and then a big a complete upside down loop.
Sure.
And I had to tell, this is when I had I was out of braces in a retainer, and I had to explain this story to my orthodontist, and I think he was calling me a liar, because I was in there, and when you're upside down, you're screaming, right? You're kind of letting loose emotion. Yeah, I'm upside down. My retainer popped out when I was upside down. I'm not even kidding you. And then I looked at my friend and I looked, I'm like, "But do you think we could go out there?"
No.
we're gonna die.
No, never go out there.
We're gonna die. That would not be a good thing. So I had to. Each one was back then it was $150, which nowadays is probably $3,000. I think. I don't know. But yeah, I actually lost a retainer on a roller coaster. I tried.
That's
I saw it
impressive.
coming out, and we were upside down, and we were trying to squeeze next to each other to try to bridge that gap. But yeah, because your mouth, just now, I think now they're more a permanent, Invisalign. My son has them now, but
Sure.
yeah, I had the old metal one, and but yeah, that's my
There you go.
That's a great excuse for the orthodontist. I think.
yeah.
And I feel really bad for that maintenance guy at the park that discovered the retainer.
Oh,
I've heard stories though about
Of
crazy things
things
they'll
lost.
find, like glass eyes and
ooh,
Oh, really?
just
Yeah.
the most random stuff that they'll find.
Nintendo
Yeah.
3DS.
Nintendo's
so-
yeah.
What? Why? I mean, do you even need to bring it
I
with
know,
you?
right.
Just can you have someone to hand it off to? I mean, the glass eye, I could see, but well, no pun intended.
Pun intended.
You gotta play Mario online.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Sit on the ride.
You got to record with that really crappy camera that those things.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I know.
So kids, yes, leave your 3DS at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave your Nintendo at home.
There's a lot of PSAs built in too. I'm glad
Right.
you mentioned don't go over those fences. I'm sure you guys have heard
Oh,
those nightmare
of course.
stories.
Yeah.
People
Oh,
that jump over and there's decapitations, all
Oh,
this
yeah.
crazy
Oh
stuff.
man.
Ooh, those signs are there for a reason. Kids.
They are there. They are there for a
Not going
reason.
there.
You don't want to get hit by a
Yes.
roller coaster for sure.
Going 70, 80 miles an hour, a steel roller coaster.
I've never seen a person get hit by one. Thank God.
Yeah.
I have seen a couple of birds taken out.
Yeah.
And there was a pigeon at Six Flags Great Adventure. Batman the Ride came
Yeah.
around, and there was this big poof,
Yep.
and just a big poof of feathers. And I went, wow, did somebody drop a stuffed animal or something?
Yeah.
And then you just saw this pigeon twitch. I'm sorry, guys. Twitching at the bottom there.
Hey, it's all right. You got to sell the image. So
Yeah.
Yes.
So the coasters are no joke in that regard. So yeah, leave your cell phones at home.
Yes.
I've been hit in the head with a hat,
Glasses.
glasses.
Glasses. Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
wear a strap with my glasses.
Yeah.
I've seen wallets go by my feet before as well.
See, that'd be the lucky one. I'm sure the maintenance guys look every night all right,
Well,
bucks here and there, credit cards, watches.
I do have a
Right.
crazy wallet story.
Oh yeah.
So, and this was actually published in an airline magazine. So it's
very cool.
it's honest to goodness. So my wife and I were riding end of the season at Six Flags New England. It was at the time Superman the Ride.
Yep.
Now I think it's
No, it's
it's Superman the Ride. It
Changed
was
the Bizarro, then they changed it back. Yeah.
back when it was originally put in. It was the end of the season, so it was the last ride on the last operating night,
Mhm.
and it was dark. They were running it, no lights on. And my wife had her wallet in her coat pocket, which zipped up, and she accidentally left it unzipped.
Sure.
So we pull into the station, and she says to me, I lost my wallet. And like an idiot, I say, what do you mean you lost your wallet? Like,
Right.
like it wasn't a clear, you know,
I mean, it was
a
pretty.
clear thing. She's, I lost my wallet on the coaster. So we're kind of arguing back and forth. All I can think about is, oh, great. Now we got to cancel the credit cards.
Yeah.
We got to get a new driver's license
It's a
for
job.
her. And,
Sure.
and some kid from in the back of the roller coaster, we were riding near the front, walks in front of us to the operator's booth, plunks something down on the desk there and says, somebody dropped this on the ride and I caught it.
No kidding.
I don't know how he caught it out
Oh
of
my
midair at
gosh.
70 miles an hour
right.
in the dark.
Right.
For
I
the
mean,
baseball team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should be.
he should be.
right.
Yeah. He should be on the
That
Yankees.
patrons name was Peter Parker. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's like, you know, like you watch that YouTube channel, Dude Perfect, right?
Oh,
And how they do like all these, like that's like
Trick shots,
ultimate
oh,
trick
yeah.
shot. Like pass
Oh,
the
man.
wallet to the guy in the back.
Yeah, right.
Right there.
crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
there was no second chance on that one.
No.
though.
No.
We probably would have gotten it back eventually.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming if you had waited around and talked to the park, they might have actually
Yeah.
shipped out your retainer to you later,
Yeah, right.
Right.
later date if they found it.
Yeah. I mean, I was just, it was that day was, something else. I think we also went through, my friend's car broke down in the middle of the safari. It's like a drive-through safari.
yes.
So it's like picture the hottest summer day, right?
Right. Of course.
And her air conditioner's not working, and then we just have to get out of the car. I'm literally walking on the road that like animals are on. There's an ostrich like, yo, what's up? Is he gonna hurt me?
Yeah,
I
right.
can't outrun him, no matter how fast I run. He's got me by a few miles per
Right.
hour.
That's like fever dream material. Okay.
Yeah. Thankfully,
ostrich?
I mean, we could have been trapped around like less, like or more chaotic animals, but they were pretty chill. It was hot, so. But yeah, that was part of that same adventure day.
You're lucky you didn't get stuck in the area where the monkeys crawled all over the car.
Yeah. Right.
Back in the
I know.
day.
Yeah.
Oh my
They
god!
would rip antennas off the cars,
Oh,
or
yeah.
windshield wipers off.
I would have been.
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
do know at that safari, I had a car. The first car I ever bought. We drove it through there, and a giraffe licked one of the windows.
Yeah.
I owned that car for 15 years after that. There was a permanent tongue print. Didn't matter how
Oh,
many
wow.
times I washed
Look
that
at
car.
Wow.
But when it would get, a foggy
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
there would be this like permanent
The residue or
giraffe
something.
tongue print. I don't know
Wow.
what's in a giraffe's saliva, but
Yeah,
it's permanent.
right.
Yeah.
Oh
a little
my!
caustic or something.
It's just like
Do not touch, yeah.
that's where the giraffe was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get like flashback memories.
Yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
amusement park experiences that you just can't
Yeah.
replicate. Nowadays,
Yeah.
you can't. I don't even think you can drive your car through there anymore. I think they've
No, they have
the trucks that go
Yeah,
through there, right?
Yeah, I
sure.
think
Temporarily, they did bring back the cars though. I
for
think,
For COVID.
And then
Oh,
they had- and now they've gone back to the actual in park
Yeah.
kind of trucks.
So it's
Yeah.
still cool, but it's not the same thing. Actually,
Yeah.
our track and cross country team got to run there in the safari
whoa,
That's pretty neat.
Years
a few years
Yeah.
ago.
Quite a few years ago now.
that's a cool experience.
They have
Place
they
is
have
from.
they have a 5K race that they do for
Very
the
cool.
high school
Yeah.
in New Jersey and whoever else. Yeah,
That's
Probably
really
the
cool.
guys are trying to egg on the animals to say like, all right,
Yeah,
try to
just
scare us, see if I can outrun it.
yeah. People are
Side by
leaving
side.
their favorite foods along the route, in hopes that something comes
Sure.
out.
well, the key again to that is you don't have to outrun everybody. You just have to outrun
Yeah,
the last
the
kid.
slowest guy. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's pretty much
someone's got to get eaten. So
Yeah, like it was in like shark bait. Ooh,
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow. Now with here's so we were talking about some technology on roller coasters. What are thoughts? Because you go on YouTube and you see what are thoughts about like people bringing sorts of cameras and recording their rides. Is
Sure.
that like a good practice? Is that like frowned upon by the American coaster enthusiasts?
I mean, in general, like a lot of the POVs you see online, if they're a higher quality POV, they were probably taken with like park permission.
Okay.
So you can get permission to do it.
Okay, yeah.
But what they're gonna want to know is what you're recording with, what kind of mount you have, because they
Yeah.
don't want you just holding your phone.
Right.
Sure.
So, and that's where it gets dangerous. Is if you're just holding it, high speeds. That's a projectile. If you
Yeah.
let go of that and that hits someone in the face, now you got a lawsuit in your hands.
Yeah.
So they don't want that. So you should not bring your phone on a ride.
No.
But if you have the proper equipment and park permission, nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
that's a
good to
key
know.
thing. ACE, American Coaster Enthusiasts is pretty clear with our members. you should not be shooting those, and no violation of the park rules. You got to follow the rules.
Yeah.
That's part of part of being an ACE member. You got to show that respect. Unfortunately, a lot of people do. A lot of people bring those cell phones. So nowadays, if you go through the line, you might notice the box of cell phones and 3D.
That's where I saw the 3DS.
And they're shattered, broken cell phones.
Oh wow!
And it's not worth it. Just leave it on, enjoy the ride.
Sure.
A lot of parks though are now putting on actual POV videos, videos that you can buy.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
They're talking about that at the Great Escape for their brand new coaster, the Bobcat.
The Bobcat, yeah.
So they've got a mount, and actually, Danny should talk to you about the real camera setup from Media Day.
Well, I recently got to go to Media Day for Bobcat, and they had like the first row taken off, and they had this giant mount where they could mount like cameras to, and they had people mic'd up, and they did on-ride interviews. So it was a very interesting experience.
Awesome.
He was on there with Channel 10.
Oh, very cool. Yeah,
for a ride, it was pretty cool. It was his 350th roller coaster.
Yep.
Can you give me sneak peeks to the Bobcat? A legit roller coaster, because I was a big fan of the Alpine bobsled. I never running when I was there. But.
That was the problem with it.
Exactly.
Always, There's always those coasters.
It's definitely more reliable than bobsled. It'll probably be open almost every day. And it's a great coaster. You get all this airtime and a lot of good stuff, and it's pretty tame, so you wouldn't have to worry about throwing up.
Okay, all right, good. All right.
This would be a good one. Good one for you to slide back into the coaster room. Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Mr. Blaze will take notes for me. And I'll
Yes.
off the list.
Yes.
But if I throw up, I am coming back and blaming something.
You can talk to
You
Dan.
told me it was good.
It's a perfect addition to that park. Not only that, so you talk about the Comet. The Comet's in the back of the park. That's a coaster you got to be 48 inches tall to ride. The Bobcat, you only have to be 42 inches to ride with another person who's 48 inches.
Okay.
So borrow an adult. Go ride with mom or dad.
Yep.
And it's big enough that it's really exciting, even for those younger kids and for the adults, quite frankly.
Okay.
And it's a good way to graduate, a good way to meet those height. I always feel bad for that poor kid who shows up and is about an eighth of an inch too short for the coaster.
Should have wore the thicker shoes.
I've been that kid before.
Should have wore the Hokas, right? Hoka Max Ultras. Super cushion.
Won't say that that's never happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's good to know. So
Now,
I think I was going to ask you guys at one point, like in your opinion, are there entry level, medium level, extreme? Like, is there an official categorization?
Oh yeah.
Like coasters, or just like your holistic viewpoints?
I think a lot of the parks do rank them, but I don't know how accurate those always are.
Yeah.
Because they are ranking Bobcat and Comet on the same level.
Oh, really? Okay.
Really,
Comet's definitely a step up.
Yeah, Comet is definitely more of a step up.
Gotcha. Okay.
I would say to a parent, if you're not sure, ride it first.
Yeah.
Right.
And we always had a rule in our family that you never had to ride a ride you didn't want to ride.
Yeah. Sure.
So even if we had stood in line for 2 hours, and Danny, and we get to the front of that line, and you go, "I don't want to ride."
Changed my mind.
We would not make you ride. I don't think we ever made you ride.
I ever did that.
No, you were pretty good about telling us before we got in the line. Thankfully.
Yeah. Now I have to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good rule to have. You don't want a kid to force a kid into it, and sometimes it takes them longer. Some kids right away they want to ride these rides, and Danny, it took you a little bit longer to really get to enjoy them, and now I can't keep them off of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now what are the okay, you said how many do you have?
350.
350. So
I think I'm 478.
478.
373.
Okay.
That's different coasters.
Different coasters.
Different individual coasters.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many coasters? Okay, now here's how many coasters do you guys have in common? Would you say if you were to ballpark?
I would say these two have. You probably have ridden almost everything. There may be one or two coasters each that you haven't ridden.
we have a few that you don't have.
Yes, and they have a few. So
Just a few.
The bulk of them, I would say, I probably have just about everyone that they have, with the exception of
Knott's Berry
Knott's Berry
Farm.
Farm out in California.
Okay.
I'm
So-
still a little jealous about that.
His brother took us. So.
Yeah, it's like my daughter. She's going on a trip like in California, and we haven't even gone to California. She got invited for a friend. Like that was her friend's Sweet 16 gift to bring my daughter out to California. I'm like, can I go in your travel on or something like that? How's this work? I mean, I'm going to work on my contortionist skills, but
I gotta go board game.
so yeah, I get that sort of little bit of jealousy. Yeah,
But yeah, I would say most of them.
most of them.
The
Okay,
bulk
that's
of those
cool.
we've all ridden. And your mother has what? She's probably around that 360 mark as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, is there a certain number you need to join the American Coaster Enthusiasts, or is it just,
0, 1.
Zero?
You know, there are people who don't even ride them a lot. Actually,
Yeah.
they just love to come look at them, listen to them.
the mechanics, engineering?
Absolutely.
Maybe,
So there are people that get motion sick
Yeah.
and will
presence. Yeah.
will take Dramamine or put a patch on so they can ride. That's dedication.
Yeah.
That is my next step. I know, because I do love them, and I miss them. But
And then we have, there are ACE members. We were actually, when we were at Media Day for the Bobcat, one of the ACE members who was there, actually I think it was their communications director, hit 1,200
Yeah.
on the Bobcat.
Wow.
And that sounds like a
12.
lot. I mean, that is a lot, but
Depending on how long.
there's a lot of members, ACE members and other people that have those kind of numbers.
Right. So in these numbers, right, so people know, right, it's not like riding the Bobcat 500 times. I mean, each one is
You get one credit
per.
per first time riding it. So,
Okay. Now, do you get like here's like we kind of neat, like depending on the intensity of it, like, and again, that's subjective as an art teacher. So, like if that roller coaster was more intense, like if it had a higher speed, a bigger drop, you get like bonus credits, like fear factor. Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. That'd be kind of a neat little.
That would be a neat thing to do. I don't know. I haven't heard ACE members really talking about that. Coaster enthusiasts doing.
There is racing coasters, which
Oh.
have two different sides of the track.
Some do.
And
Yes.
sometimes
some are
those are 2
bogus.
credits because they'll have different layouts.
Well, we might have to
Okay.
argue about that, though.
Okay.
oh,
I think
Let's
we
hear it.
count them
Here we
as
go.
2 credits.
There have been a lot of arguments about what counts as a roller coaster.
That's a great thing.
Various people will count things as coasters that other people might not count.
So, for example, is a powered coaster. So, like those little caterpillars that are powered all the way through the ride. Does that count as a coaster?
Count? Does it not
I
count?
count 'em.
that free draw.
I count them, but then these guys count one of the old first generation free fall rides that
Oh,
they
okay.
used to have at like Dorney Park or Cedar Point. Great
Oh,
Adventure,
yeah.
where you kind of
yeah.
drop and then
Like a
right
mountain, like on a mountain one, like right? Like I've been to one. It was in Adirondack somewhere. Like a mountain coaster where there's
Well,
no
those-
motor.
Those
Those two.
definitely count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mountain
We
coasters
count
a
them.
lot.
I mean, those are extremely like
Yeah.
hairy. I mean, I was like an ultimate risk taker when I was a kid. Like I'm very blessed and lucky to still be here to talk. Just put it that way. But I mean, I remember going on that, and I literally felt like I think I'm gonna die. I think I'm gonna like eat that tree right there because I was looking. I'm like, are these wheels holding on? I was not taking pictures. I was just like, I think I took one picture to start, like, and then I put my phone away and went down. I don't even know if it had brakes. Do they have brakes?
Yeah,
on
most of
those?
the mountain coasters you
Yeah.
can actually
Coasters
push
will
forward and they'll
actually-
break. Yeah.
You can control your
Yeah.
own braking, which is
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
And actually, some really old coasters have what's called a brake man. So it'll actually, it's actually a park employee who will be on the ride and control the speed of the ride.
Oh, brake man.
With a brake lever. That we're talking really, really old coasters.
Sure.
I think there's some in
There's
Denmark.
very few. Yeah, Denmark has some.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think I've ever ridden one.
Right.
No, they're
No,
none in
no.
the U.S. None in
No.
the U.S.
Okay.
That's gonna be my next question. Yeah, we're probably talking more worldwide.
Yeah.
You have all these different types of coasters and
Yeah.
age of them. I was
Which-
trying to research a little bit of history before coming in, but obviously, like the Cyclone and Coney Island, like the older coasters, that are
Right.
still around. But I never heard about Brakeman, so that's a cool.
That is cool.
Sounds like a very stressful job. To be honest.
It sounds like a
Watching
dream
Eagle
job. You get to ride
Yeah.
the coaster all day.
Right. Yeah. It's a little more pressure than the guy with like doing the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Like, spin around that's slow. But those
Yeah.
can be intimidating too, depending on like,
Heights,
like the height of those. I mean, when you get up there.
Okay.
Now, I mean, we were talking, you had, like the non-powered one, like a down like a mountain coaster. there's what people would think of like the classic roller coaster, kind of like, I mean, now they're probably more metal, but they started as wooden ones. You know, I think is the Comet wooden?
Comet's wood,
Wooden, yeah.
but it's actually. Hey, Danny, grab a bolt there. We can show.
Oh, yeah.
We have some spare bolts from the Comet.
Oh,
We were told that they were replaced.
Okay, yeah. These were. No one was
Let's hope
harmed
so.
in the
Let's hope
pulling of these bolts.
So these, you'll actually notice. So these
Oh,
are
wow.
part of the steel structure.
Yeah.
The structure of the coaster is steel.
Don't
But if you look at the track, yeah, don't open the bag.
Wow.
The structure is steel,
Yeah.
but the track itself is stacked wood, and then there's steel plates on top of that.
Yeah.
The steel wheels of a wooden roller coaster ride on. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is to have some wood in the track. You actually determine a type of coaster by the track. So if you have
That's so
you can have a
solid.
wooden structure, but then if it's steel tubular rails, that's considered a steel coaster.
And actually,
But then it gets really complicated, because then you start talking about hybrid coasters,
Yeah.
and that's getting complicated these days.
Well, I can't imagine like the wooden ones. I know there's those like tubular ones, not like tubular, but you know, like tubular,
Right,
like
yeah,
they're like they're. But was there was one before tubes? The concept of tubes, was there just like a regular like metal replacement to like the wooden one? You know, like so like the Comet is, you know, like majority of like wooden ones, but were there ones that were more metal, or was it just like the wooden and then like tubular? Would you say?
When tubular steel track came out, that really changed the game. So that was, and I want to say that was Matterhorn bobsled. So
okay.
Disney really brought that.
Yeah, yeah,
And Disney and Aerodynamics was the company, and they found that you could bend that to the right shapes.
Yeah.
That you'll find even nowadays. There's one of the companies does a lot of like I-beam kind of track.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's
So that would be
Rocky Mountain
Construction.
Rocky Mountain Constructions. I almost
Okay.
said coasters there.
yeah.
RMC. So they actually have kind of a steel I-beam track that they use,
Okay.
which is a little bit different. Some of the kiddie coasters are more I-beam shaped
Yeah,
and can have a different type of shape, but it's the tubular steel that really changed the nature of coasters. That's what enabled you to go higher and faster, upside down,
yep.
along,
And they're light. Probably imagine lighter, right? With it being hollow. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know if it's lighter, but it's probably
probably
easier
stronger.
to assemble.
Yeah.
They kind of go up a little bit quicker. They're probably easier to maintain. A wooden coaster takes a lot of TLC to really keep it
What
up.
I've heard is that wooden coasters tend to be cheaper to build but more expensive to maintain, and steel coasters tend to be more expensive to build but a lot cheaper to maintain.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're a maintenance
last
guy
one.
in a park, you may be walking that track every day to make sure that things are safe and ready to run. So those get inspected every day. Somebody's out climbing that track before you get to the park.
Somebody's looking for these bolts.
Yeah,
Right.
they're
Like,
wooden roller
wait.
coaster, they're making sure nothing's loose.
I
They're
saw a
making sure
couple
that
on the podcast here. What's going on here?
Trust me, those bolts have been replaced.
yes. They were yeah. Yeah, we imagine with like we have a cedar house, and so like depending on where the sun is coming from, wood will wear faster, and like if there's they got to make sure like probably with like foliage around it, keeping that at bay, and how is the weather that year? A lot of variables will affect that wood, I'm sure.
They have to retrack wooden coasters much more frequently.
Yeah, how often do you do that?
It depends. I guess it depends on the coaster. It depends how rough it's gotten, or if it needs a little TLC. So, for example, I believe they just retracked the entire lift hill for the Comet.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow.
And it may be kind of a phased replacement. So if you're on, you may notice lighter sections of wood and darker sections of wood track.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's typically an area that's been, the lighter sections might be more recently retracked.
Okay.
And it can be an ongoing process. But there's a lot of work that goes in on those off-season
Right.
to ensure that, especially a wooden coaster.
Yeah.
But these days, they're even retracking a lot of the steel roller coasters. Some of the older steel roller coasters, they just finished a big project on Loch Ness Monster in Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Which is an old classic. Not old. I mean, all right, I'm calling myself old.
Right.
An older classic
We do all the time.
steel
Yeah.
coaster.
Oh, definitely.
Looping coaster, So
Sure.
we're actually going down in we might or might not be missing some school to go down and
No, we would never miss school.
we never miss school.
No.
It's educational.
Yes.
We call
This
that
is an engineering field trip.
we had a former teacher here that was just like, if you did that sort of stuff, it was called remote curriculum delivery.
Yeah.
So you're just getting remote. You're going to be logging in on Classroom and some Google Hangouts. So you're good. You're good. Just not while on the coaster.
I think they've got their work done anyway.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, high
I'm
schools.
a senior. They can't stop me from graduating.
At this
Checked out.
Gauntlet thrown down.
That's a great kind of connection because we do have some students that listen.
Yeah.
So the next time you kids are bored in math class or science,
Oh
or
yeah.
technology,
Yeah.
it sounds like there's so many of these subjects that go into
Oh my
fun
gosh.
things like roller coasters. So if you
right.
get into these things, you
Yeah.
can have a fantastic career and work in an amusement park.
For sure.
You know?
I agree. I think it's a blending. I mean, of so many fields. You know, like you have the concept, the Imagineer, like
Even
developing the
artistic
idea.
artists,
You know.
Yeah,
Of
sure.
course, theming and various
Right.
things like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, describe what you think. I mean, how a coaster can connect with all of your senses. So, I mean, talk a little bit about that, guys.
Right. I mean, I got to recently meet the head engineer of Bobcat at Great Escape,
Oh.
and he talked about all the different elements that make a coaster a coaster. And yeah, I mean, putting a coaster in the woods is going to be better than putting a coaster in a parking lot, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Setting is
Theming it to a Bobcat. So, talk
That's
about
right.
that with Bobcat.
Oh yeah.
So Bobcat's layout is supposed to mimic the movements of a bobcat
Oh.
stalking its prey, and it really
Oh.
does feel like that when you're riding it.
Yeah,
So-
I wouldn't even.
Behind the
That's
scenes
really,
stuff, I know.
that's really deep. You know,
Sure.
not just like that. It looks like the profile shape
Right.
of one.
But there's a statue out front, right, of a bobcat.
There's a lot of
Right.
statues. You got to actually hunt for some Bobcats
Oh, okay.
there. Yeah.
Well, again, artistic
Yeah.
design. Yeah, very neat.
That's really cool
You
that
got
they-
to. I mean, that to me, I think that is the. We're not supposed to have favorites,
Yeah,
You know,
I was gonna ask.
I guess we can have favorites. We're not supposed to talk negatively about any other coasters. We don't.
You don't want to coaster
But,
shame. No.
But I gotta say, Bobcat is probably my favorite
Okay.
new coaster for this year.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
And that says a lot because they redid a big one at Cedar Point, Top Thrill 2, turned Top Thrill Dragster,
No,
which is
other way
like
around.
King to, or
Top Thrill Dragster.
they turned,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ah.
I had this right. Don't correct me.
My bad.
These are the arguments that the Abbots
Yes.
have.
yeah.
So they turned Top Thrill Dragster, which is like King to Ka.
Okay.
They turned that into Top Thrill 2. They totally, not totally changed the layout, but it's a launch coaster, does some really cool stuff.
Yep.
And that's probably the biggest coaster that's opening this year. But honestly, I'll take a Bobcat over that every day of the week.
Wow.
The other one that I can't wait to ride is actually a little kiddie family coaster.
At
You got
Holiday.
Holiday World.
Holiday World. Good gravy.
Good gravy.
Good gravy.
It's
Oh.
literally themed to like Thanksgiving dinner, and you ride in a gravy boat.
Yep.
I mean,
They're going that's like literal Thanksgiving. Yeah.
It is well, and that's
Well, right,
Holiday
yeah,
World.
so-
They have a theme. They're a holiday. They're in Santa Claus, Indiana. So
Okay.
they started off as a
Yeah.
Christmas theme park,
Yeah.
and then they've added other holidays to their park. So they've got like they've got a
Halloween
Halloween section,
4th of July.
4th of July, and Thanksgiving section.
Thanksgiving,
So
Oh.
the Thanksgiving section, they added
and Christmas, of course.
they added a coaster called Good Gravy, and you're riding in a gravy boat. You literally ride through
Yes.
like a can of cranberry sauce.
Man.
I mean, who doesn't want to do that? I want to do that. I don't care how the coaster
That's-
could be
Yes.
the most exciting or the least exciting coaster on the planet. It looks like a fun coaster,
Sure.
but
I
want to ride in a gravy boat.
I like that, and I think I'd be more even inclined if they, what they should do at the end of that ride, they should place they have a turkey drumstick stand right there at the end,
yeah.
so that's your reward for
I
getting
thought you were going
it.
to say a gravy waterfall splash.
Ooh.
Well, maybe you could
That's
you could hold your turkey drumstick
Yeah,
over
yeah,
in there.
yeah.
Like how they have chocolate
Chocolate
fountain, right? Yeah.
We'll have to suggest that to the park when we go out.
Yeah.
Talk about food once per podcast.
At least,
Oh,
at
yeah.
least.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, we could talk about some. I mean,
We've
that's
had some excellent amusement park food.
Yeah.
We've also had some not good
Okay.
amusement park
Yeah.
food. But we've had some excellent amusement
Sure.
park food. Dollywood has
Yeah.
cinnamon bread.
Oh.
It's like
Best thing
fresh
you'll
made
Nice.
It is insanely good.
Like addictively good.
Wow.
Oh, sounds good.
Wow.
That's probably the best.
It's worth going to Tennessee just for Dollywood cinnamon bread.
I mean, they've got some
Okay.
great rides and other stuff there too.
Yeah.
It's a great park, but yeah, that
Yeah.
cinnamon bread is something to behold.
Nice.
Well, that makes it too. Makes it, like, so you're going just going for the rides. I mean, that's obviously the big thing, but yeah, the full
Well-rounded experience.
the full
for sure.
experience, right?
We got a well-rounded experience. If you eat a lot of that cinnamon stick, oh my gosh.
Right.
Cakes,
Yeah, does the roller coaster count as exercise?
Yeah, well, you're holding on tight. You know, it's-
Yeah, your heart race,
Yeah.
your heart's
According
racing.
to his watch, occasionally he gets some steps in. Or no, it was you,
Yeah.
Danny. You're the doing that. You were seeing how much mileage you could get on your roller coaster.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'm not the only one that my buddy, my son. I was like, hey, let me try my GPS watch and see what happens when I go on the road. It was the one. It was. I don't know if it was the one that went backwards at the Great Escape. It goes up.
Flashback. Yeah.
Flashback.
Boomerang or
Yeah.
flashback. Yeah.
Used to be
So
called
it was really testing the limits of the GPS. I was like, look at that track there. It's like, but yeah, just test the speed of it and everything, and that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Man. Maybe not to put everybody on the spot, but you did mention the best. That was going to be my big question. I was like to get people's honest, your gut reaction.
So we're throwing that in the gloves right here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
give people a second to really think and dig deep. But for all the listeners out there, we are worldwide. I don't know if Mr. Blaze told you, we got
Yeah,
people
we're
all
like
around the globe now.
India, Greece.
We don't know where they
Yeah,
are, but
yeah,
there's a lot riding on this. If
yes.
you guys could pull out your absolute top roller coaster
Well,
next to impossible.
I will tell you mine.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Yeah, and despite what these guys will tell you after me, they're just wrong.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But there is
Yes.
the best roller coaster on the planet. I guess I technically can only say of the 478 I've ridden, but I have yet to find anything else better.
Okay.
Phoenix at Knoebels. So it's
Okay.
very much like the Comet
Yeah.
at the Great Escape. Actually, I think it's the same designer.
It is.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's got a very similar history. So, like the Comet was relocated from
Yeah.
Crystal Beach, Ontario. The Phoenix was originally the Rocket at what was the park? Park in Texas.
Crystal.
Wow.
No, that was a
Thinking
Comet.
That's
Anyways,
Playland.
I forget what the park. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was the Rocket. It moved to Knoebels back in the 80s.
Yep.
And it is just the most fantastic coaster. It's not the fastest. It's not the tallest.
Right.
But to me, it is the complete
Yeah.
package. It's
Just
got
a total
airtime
luxury,
galore.
Cool.
It's got its own signature smell. Smell the grease on the track, especially on a hot day.
Oh
The
yeah.
sound
Yeah.
is just
See,
classic.
Rattle.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it's
they're
all
going to
about
tell
that
you
smell.
something else.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, and they're wrong.
I
Gotcha.
probably share the same favorite as Tim. I don't know if this is true, but I personally like Fury 325 at Carowinds, which is a park in both Carolinas, and it's 325 feet tall.
Wow.
And if you've ever ridden Nitro at Great Adventure, it's similar to that, but it's about 125 feet taller.
Jeepers.
Wow.
That's it. It's a fun ride.
It's not a Mr. Swicky friendly
No,
ride.
it's true. Vertigo is-
Yeah, you might want to start in the
Yeah,
Bobcat
let's
first.
start with
Don't go
Bobcat,
right to
yes.
Fury.
Let's go right.
Yeah.
I'll do the gravy boat and no,
Yeah.
the
Right. The gravy train.
tiptoe my way back up. All right, cool. Was that your same
Excellent.
one though? Or
Yeah,
just
I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay.
I also really love Phoenix. Phoenix is definitely my favorite wooden coaster.
Yeah,
So
and
I
that's-
have to agree with.
Yeah,
It's kind of not a fair comparison. You kind of got to have a favorite steel and a favorite
Sure.
wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
Okay.
probably my favorite steel is, and that's changed a little bit over the years. I
Yeah.
would say it was. What are they calling it now at King's Dominion? It was Intimidator.
Project 305.
Project 305.
Project 305. So it's a 305 foot roller
I was
coaster.
actually thinking
that's
that might be. I might actually like that better than Fury. I'm not entirely sure.
So it might vary on the day of the week as well. But what are your guys' favorite woodies?
I personally like El Toro at Great Adventure.
Yeah, you're just wrong.
Yeah, no. Hey, that one has won multiple.
It's a great
awards.
coaster. It's a
Yes.
great coaster. No, don't let me kid you.
I
Does
do
it?
like Phoenix though. Phoenix is
Phoenix?
probably second.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, Phoenix is definitely my favorite wood.
And that's our favorite
that's-
amusement park, I would say. I think we're all in agreement on that. That Knoebels is the amusement park by which we compare every other
Okay.
amusement park.
Where is that again?
That's Ellisburg, Pennsylvania. So it's a
Okay.
small
Oh.
rural area,
The middle of nowhere.
middle of nowhere.
Right.
It's got free parking,
Okay.
Oh,
it's
parking.
free admission.
Entrance, yeah.
Full pause right there.
free parking, free admission.
Wow.
It's a family-owned park.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest and baddest rides, but
Yeah.
it's also
Yep.
got a lot of classic rides that they've
Yeah,
retained.
I
They've got a ride that we like, Looper,
Yeah.
which
Looper.
you roll upside down. I think you're like kind of like in a barrel, and you can control how much you roll. What's our record for that? I think we did like
I think we had like 70 or something crazy.
like 70. Went upside down 70 times.
Yeah.
That was insanity.
The ride operator told us
Do you
something
want a
like
garbage pail for that? just a just a
you
thought.
might want to not do that.
Quick, I'll be right back.
They have a wooden roller coaster called Flying Turns there.
Okay.
That's like Alpine bobsled was,
Yep.
but it's a wooden version of that.
All right.
It took them years to get it open,
Right.
and they had to innovate the trains that they built in that. They took plans from back earlier versions of that ride, and they were the only park I think that could ever build something like that. It's just a phenomenal park. Food, you talk about food.
Yeah.
Their
Pork
food
chop
is
on a stick.
there's
Is there
bacon on a
anything- is
stick.
there anything
I'm
more
down with that.
than
Chocolate,
$0.50?
chocolate covered bacon on a stick.
You put anything on a stick and it's instantly good. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
For
Right.
sure.
Those are some winners.
And then it's just it's so much fun. You can even bring your pets there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like
we
that.
have seen.
I like that.
I have seen a pet skunk there.
I've seen a pig.
Pigs.
Pigs. Somebody apparently we've heard that brings their pony
Really?
on occasion, and I think there was somebody that brings a chicken on occasion, is what I heard.
Now, does a pig get nervous when it sees the bacon on a stick? Is my question.
Well, I wouldn't take him to that part of the park.
Right.
Ice cream.
That's
Fried chicken with the
you have to access platform 9 3/4 to get the little guy.
But you can actually take your animals on all if they're small enough.
Yeah.
They can ride. I think it's
Train.
Pioneer train.
4 or 5, 6 rides, maybe.
I know at least the train.
What a
That's-
time to be
I think
alive.
both trains.
Yeah.
You look over, somebody's got a chicken on a roller coaster. Okay.
Okay.
Not on the coasters.
Oh,
You can't take them on the coasters,
yeah.
but you can take them on the train. You can
Yeah.
take them on.
Lay an egg and it's going upside down. Oh.
Lies. Save yourself.
So that's only 4.5 hours.
As
From
I
us.
say, that must be pretty
Okay.
close to the.
So it's worth
Yeah,
it's well worth the trip.
Now, there's another. I mean, I've never been there. Is Hershey Park still around? Like
Oh, yeah,
Pennsylvania?
Hershey Park's
That was
a great
That's
park.
still
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
Great park.
So that's about an hour away from Knoebels.
kind of okay.
And
Okay.
Hershey's an awesome park.
Yeah, that's one on our list
You
to
could almost
go
take a
to.
road trip and just hit a bunch of them.
Oh
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
We've done a few of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few, yeah,
few.
a few.
One or two.
Yeah.
Probably like 100.
Cool.
Well, big people talk like, yeah, what are you doing? I'm going to like this island. I'm going to that island. I'm hitting the goal of hitting 50 coasters this
Yeah.
weekend. That's my goal.
There you go.
We don't have low key relaxing vacations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are like, okay, we're gonna hit this park, and then it's this park, and this park, and this park.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll hit 2 parks in a day.
Awesome.
You have the kind of
Sometimes we
vacation
will
where
ride.
like-
I think we rode 6 or 7 mountain coasters in one day, and
Yeah.
or maybe
Wow.
not 6 or 7. Yeah, probably
Yeah.
at least 4 or 5.
3 or 4. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Those are an entirely different experience on their own.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
guys don't have normal. Our family gets upset at us when we drive to areas and don't see the sights. So my wife and I once decided, all right, we gotta follow the family's wishes. We were out towards St. Louis, so we
Okay.
stopped at the Arch.
Yeah, right. Certain
that
like
was-
touristy traps, right?
But I mean, this was probably 25 years ago, 20
Yeah.
years ago, and I was kind of grumping about I could have gotten a season pass to a park for the amount I paid to go
Yeah.
up in the Arch.
Right. Yeah, you're thinking like,
This
if
one's
they
didn't drop either.
right. Yeah, this elevator is so slow. I'm not anticipating anything here. yeah. The brake guy's working overtime over here,
Oh, very cool. How about Mr. Blaze?
Yes, now see my realm, like, so was it now 3 summers ago we went to Walt Disney World. My first, so my son, I have 2, right? A 7-year-old and a 15-year-old is like you guys, taller than me already, which isn't saying much, but you guys just keep growing. But so he went there he was 6.5, 7. I went there Disney the first time at 46. So it was like a neat experience. We were both there. But my older guy who's 15, we went on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Now,
Heard good things.
Yeah.
so, and even the people at the park were like, definitely this is the one thing they say, when you're going on this part of the ride, make sure to lift your head up. So Disney as a whole, you guys have been. I'm assuming. Or
No,
no,
we've actually-
okay.
Yeah.
This is and
So
don't take away our enthusiast
I know,
card.
yeah, shocking.
We've never been to Disney.
No. I mean, I like I said, I was just there at like 46, so I'm not in judgment free zone here. So, and I'm happy. I went once. And other people that love going every year, and I'm like, okay, you do you. I'm good. I went. Because I think I hit like 25, 30,000. Like you walk so much, right, Adam?
Right, yeah.
But now they get into like a lot of like VR and sort of like a lot of full sensory from like smells, like breezes being piped in
It's
to
that
give the
immersion factor.
immersion. And like the setup, they have like the setup on the ride, like, so you're waiting. So it was like a virtual queue you had to get in. So we're on the app and you had to wait, and then you could go in there. So you're not waiting in the line the whole time you get called in.
Yep.
So as you get set up, there's a huge setup. You're looking at all like, they have all sorts of like behind the scenes, like about Guardians of the Galaxy. It looks like you're literally walking into a spaceship, and there's such an experience. You could probably go on YouTube and watch it. So that was really cool. So it wasn't like you're bored, like twiddling your thumbs. But then we're getting ready to go in on the ride, and they have like, I think it was like Terry Crews was like one of the guys like telling you like, this is what's going on. I don't know, like there's a battle happening, and all of a sudden it went black. And they said before it went black, they told you to make sure to stand inside this ring. And so we did. And then the lights came on, and we were like almost in a completely different room.
It's amazing.
We didn't move at all. And I'm like,
Sure.
was I just abducted? Like, seriously, what just happened? I hear about this on the news. So, but it was so neat because the coaster, as you're going, they had screens. So imagine like this whole wall is a screen, right? And they pivot the coaster cart around. So as you see the screen and you see like this battle scenes going on, and then like you have speakers like right by your head. So you're like doing like what I'm doing in my chair as you're going up and down. You're watching this. I mean, it's definitely not a Mr. Swicky friendly ride. But and then they had one spot where you're looking at the moon where again, this is an indoor coaster. So it's like and I'm like corkscrewing down, and they said one Disney person, it was like, make sure you try to keep your head up to look at the moon. So you're going down like spiraling, and I'm like trying to going against strip of a force, like lifting my head to like, oh, I see the moon, I see the moon, I see the moon. All right, it's cool. But we got off the ride, and I mean, like literally, like you're like, I mean, my hair's not up, but like if you had long hair, like be like sideways. It was just crazy. Absolutely, never been on anything quite like that, and it was like they've mastered that. Like what's a coaster, what's not a coaster, sort of thing, because how they designed like the carts, you could see people like turning, like the carts turning around, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I mean, that may be over the top for like a standard person though, like I just want to get on, I want to be outside, I don't want to be cooped up. So I think
that's the difference kind of between a theme park, because you're really immersed in that theme. It's a whole other world.
A theme, right?
And a more traditional amusement park,
right?
Some of which there may be some theming places, but nobody does that better than Disney or Universal.
Right. No,
I think those are probably right.
Oh yeah. At least not in the States. At least there are
overseas,
some very impressive themed attractions in other countries overseas.
Some of those indoor coasters can be really, really kind of special because they like not always super intense, throw you out of your seat, but they always have some kind of theming. And it works with some of the indoor coasters.
Or even if you're just in the dark, some of them are just you don't know where you're at.
Right. Yeah.
Takes away your kind of sense of direction. It can make the experience more intense, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that's what it is.
Almost like a new spot. You're like,
yeah.
Where am I?
Well, and that's the thing. And actually, one ride I've never. I've been on. I think I've been on like the road. Like was the road? I don't even know it's in existence anymore. Where it spins around and the floor drops like those.
Yeah.
Have you done one of those yet?
I have not.
Those. I mean, that's like the one that like, you wouldn't go on after a while. Like, oh, dude, my friend puked and I got puke on me.
That's gone.
But like
90s, I think Chris pulled it up.
They had one. It was called Mission Space. Now it wouldn't fall into the coaster realm, but my son being like the go-getter, I'm invincible at the age of 15. I got the world under my feet sort of guy, and I love it. And that's I was there. I was totally there. I'm not I'm not going to slice the humble pie there, but so it was like basically you're in like this like astronaut like training capsules, right, where they can be manipulated and stuff. So we're on, and they had like Mars and Earth, and Mars was like the harder one. And my son Noah was like, Dad, do Mars. All right, let's do Mars. So you can fit 3 people in. Like one's like doing this on the one's the captain, one's doing the wings or whatever. And each person has a job. So we're going, and we're in there. I mean, it's kind of like you're like a sardine. You get in there, and I'm not big, and I got in, and I'm like, this is pretty tight. And then it started. And then you got closer, like the screen is here, and you got like your little flying thing. And I don't know how they did this, but I'm inside a capsule. I'm not outside. My eyes were tearing like I was on a ride, and like wind was coming at me, and I literally felt like my face like melting. My skin was pulling off of my skull, and I got to a point where I was like kind of like side-eyeing my kids, and I'm like, Am I going to die? Like I'm inside of a box and I'm worried I'm going to die. But I thought to myself, either I'm going to throw up all over everybody or I'm going to pass out. But inside of a can.
It's amazing what
I
they
don't
can do
even
with
know.
this.
Like, I mean, how that sort of stuff like works. I mean, it was just
that technology plus the power of the human brain combined.
I mean, my son was never the same for like 2 hours after. I got off the ride and he was like, we were looking at each other.
We've had a few days like that, I think.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Recovering.
Wacky ride.
Right. Like where you're like, I'm going to hold off for a little while.
I needed a break after we did those 50 loops on Looper.
Yes.
50.
That
5-0.
Yeah.
That was intense.
You didn't have any change in your pocket.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have after that ride. No,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss all that goodbye.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know that we got your favorite coaster.
Yeah.
Well, again, there was a window when I was very serious about them. The one that did me in, I guess I'll start with the ending, was the Batman at Six Flags, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Batman the ride, the hanging below the track.
Oh, yeah.
And the flip, it was just so hot that day. It was like 95 degrees.
Yeah.
Foolishly, I didn't drink anything all day. I'm like, I'm not spending $18 on a Coca-Cola. No way.
Nope.
Just for some reason, the heat getting off that ride, I remember looking at my friend and I was like, I don't feel very well.
No.
See you to throw up the entire day.
Oh.
We're on the school field trip, the 8th grade field trip for here.
Oh,
So all
no.
the poor kids, like I'm sitting on the benches, they're like, Mr. Swick, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
They get on a ride, I sneak to the restroom. And then the piece de resistance on the end, we're driving home back here to Monessen. And the air conditioning on the bus didn't work. So I was like,
Oh, no, boy.
unbearable. And then get this, so a car sideswipes us on the Mass Turnpike. So naturally, we have to pull over. We call Massachusetts State Police because we have to report the accident. The guy takes off. So I'm looking at my co-teachers. I'm like, I got to sneak outside real quick. I don't feel well. So like, yeah, go ahead. I put my head over the guardrail and I'm puking my guts out. And there's a police officer right next to me. He's like, you okay? You're the one that called about the accident? All the kids are up there watching me.
Oh, face palm. Yeah.
So right then I was like, all right, I think I'm retiring from roller coasters. So.
Yeah, that was a
That was
definitive.
it. But before that happened, my absolute favorite coaster, I'd be curious if you guys rode it, in Wildwood, New Jersey, they have Maury's Piers.
Yeah,
Several
yeah.
different park piers, the Great White.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
ride.
Love
Great
the
ride.
Great White.
Fantastic.
Kind of, it feels like the Comet. If you've been in the Comet, I'm sure there's different turns. I don't know it like the back of my hand. But I absolutely fell in love with this coaster. I rode it at nighttime. The heat of the summer, like you're a young kid, the summer feels like it's going to last forever and it's endless. And you go over that first hill and you look out across the ocean and the moon was out. You could see every white cap on the ocean. And in that moment, I remember looking and just feeling like this is the best feeling of my life. I just felt so alive.
That's
Instantly to a drop. It was the purest
Classic.
adrenaline I've ever
That's a
felt.
beautiful coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a magnet
Maury's is a great park.
I loved it. Yep. I'll still do that one. I will fight through the sickness to do
Okay.
it. Right
Yeah.
And
And make sure to stay hydrated.
Yes,
too. Yeah,
hydrated.
Hydrated.
And
that's
yes,
a good
remedy.
that's a good instructions for when you go to amusement
For
parks.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Make a checklist.
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's exactly why we're enthusiasts.
Yeah.
It's those
Oh,
moments.
yeah, exactly.
So for me, it's that moment at the top of the lift hill of
Sure.
the Comet,
Yeah.
looking out at the Adirondacks in the
Yeah.
middle of fall
Right.
on that cool fall day,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you just see the beautiful
Sure.
trees
It's all your
changing.
senses that come alive. It's
Uh,
more than just the ride. It's
yeah.
the feeling and the emotions and the nostalgia.
Right.
It's that day on Nitro doing how fast that goes, 75 miles an hour, something like that.
80.
Yeah, 80 through a heavy rainstorm and just
Oh,
being
gosh.
pelted and soaked,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is terrible, this is
Yeah.
horrible, but
It's such a feeling.
But I love it.
I love it all the same.
I'm gonna do another
That's
one.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did.
Oh,
It's riding Millennium Force, my wife and I, which
Yeah.
is a 300-foot roller coaster out at Cedar Point. Fantastic coaster, speed galore, and we
Nice.
got on the front seat of it one evening,
Mm.
not realizing that we were in for the buggiest ride I've ever seen.
Oh.
So we were being pelted. It's got a fast lift hill, so we were being pelted by gnats, just clouds of gnats.
Oh
all the way
yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I rode with my arms in front of me the entire way. My wife rode like this,
Sure.
and when we came off, my arms were black,
Oh.
coated with dead bugs. She said she was washing gnats out of her hair for the next 2 days.
Oh man!
But you know what? I mean,
it
it's
was-
one of those memories that we'll never
You
forget.
never
Yeah,
forget
it's
that.
hard
Yeah,
not
you
to,
never
right?
forget
I mean,
that.
And you're not going to stop me from getting on that coaster
Yeah.
again. I mean, I
No.
will get on
Great ride.
that coaster over and over and over again. I may not ride in the front seat
Yeah, right.
on a really buggy night,
Sure.
but
Duck behind the person.
Yeah.
To take a front.
well, I believe she's not here to defend herself, so I probably shouldn't say it, but I believe she said to me, "Oh, it can't be that bad,"
Mm.
and it
Boy,
was.
was she wrong.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
But it's those memories, and I think
Yeah.
watching fireworks from the top of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
wow.
fireworks on
Me too.
Pantheon.
Yeah, I was
that
just gonna
was
say
that was
Me and
crazy.
Tim have a memory from
Sure.
Busch Gardens, and we were going upside down
So-
the first time on the coaster,
Yeah.
and the fireworks go off, and it's
Yeah.
just for the rest of the
Wow.
ride, it's a beautiful view
It's
of all the
amazing.
That
fireworks
was
going
incredible.
I mean, it
Most
could
people
be.
say, like, I've seen fireworks upside down.
Right.
Like,
Right.
crazy.
I mean, and fireworks are amazing in it by themselves, and then here you are, like it's like you're getting a 2-for-1
Oh, yeah.
special right
It
there.
was incredible. It really was.
Wow.
So I think you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly
Thank
what.
you. That's all I can bring. I can't bring the adrenaline anymore. But
Yeah.
No,
Figured
but
I'd bring the
I
hearts.
could picture that. I think we've all done that. I think we've done that ride at
Sure.
Maury's
Oh, love
in the
that ride.
moonlight at night,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, in daytime, just as amazing. You see, the curvature of the Earth basically when you get that high. But nighttime, nothing beats it. So
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
a great ride.
Yeah, definitely. Like the views you get. I mean, I think, like the engineers plan and
oh sure,
engineer and artist, like planning, like, okay, what are you going to see when you're up from the height and making sure facing the coasters the
Right,
right way, where you basically like, oh, you can never see any part of the park like that except from
Right.
that vantage
That
point.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's like a speed tour of the park, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
I think that fits in well with you were going to talk about like your guide to ride,
Oh,
your
yeah.
suggestions for riding, everything from which I don't
Yeah.
think we included. Staying hydrated
Right.
Yep.
is an important
Yes.
part of it.
Please give me a survival guide. This will be the
Survival
first
guide.
step.
How to get to the best ride on a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
I think the first thing I want to put to rest is that like the rumor that it's faster in the back, it's not necessarily true, but you do get different forces depending on where you sit.
Okay.
So maybe like I know as a good example, Superman at New England.
Yeah.
If you ride in the back over those airtime hills, you'll get tugged over the hill, and you'll get more airtime or little spring out of your seat. And I think on
That's good. Too.
like some of the older wooden coasters, you want to ride towards the middle of a car. So like cars are like 3 seats usually, right?
On some of them, yeah.
And you want to ride in the middle seats because when you're over the wheels, it has a tendency to be more rough.
Okay.
That
All right.
makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
So your favorite seat on the Comet is.
Is second to back, so not
Okay.
not the very
Okay.
back. But
So
second to
you're
back.
not riding over those wheels. You get a
Sure.
little bit
It runs
smoother
a lot
ride.
smoother.
All right.
Um,
All right. That's good.
Yeah.
But I also think, if you ask most enthusiasts, they're probably not going to hop on if they have their choice. I mean,
Right.
if it's a long line, we'll hop on any seat available.
Yeah.
But if,
Right.
if you have your choice, you're either going to be towards the front or you're going to be towards the back.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
And
The
a lot of
middle
times
is-
the front is the view, and,
Sure.
and the back is maybe the
Airtime.
forces are a little bit different. Maybe the airtime's a little more rigorous or vigorous.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
More
But-
physics at play.
The same.
Yeah, you get yanked over the hills, like Danny was saying. I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Our question on the wooden coasters.
Oh yes.
There you go.
Yep. The hand.
Are you
we should've
arms
did that
up?
on the phone,
Oh, yeah.
Too. What were we thinking?
Oh yeah, we'll do another one. We'll do another. We're like we're all sitting.
Oh, on our
we're
photo,
all
yes.
sitting in chairs going like this. There we go.
Arms are always up on any
Yeah.
kind of coaster.
Yeah.
Unless it's rough.
That's true.
There is such thing as defensive riding. I will say
Okay.
on some rougher coasters, sometimes, especially when you have big, bulky, over the shoulder restraints.
Yeah.
They can you kind of hit your head a little bit, kind of earboxing a little bit. So one of the ways you can avoid that is sticking your head out a little bit so that
Okay.
you're not hitting your head as much.
Oh right. Okay.
Which
That's
only
good.
works when you're tall enough.
Or
When that's at your ear level. There's
If you're not, then you can pin
you
to
can
one
pin
side,
to one side,
and then you won't move.
And then in theory,
Okay.
you won't bang your head as much.
Right.
Although
Okay.
Do you have to go into like the turn or anything?
I just choose one side and try to keep it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go with your dominant side. Right-handed. Go right side. There we go.
We definitely,
with gravity or something
yeah.
scientific.
if you know the layout, I've done that before. So if I know a layout of a coaster, I will sometimes pin, and then as I know
Yeah. It's good.
going into the other turn, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. All right.
I'm good to know. It's random. Here's my question. Like the Comet, they would say, you got to ride it in the rain. Have to ride it in the rain. Does that have any truth to it? Like if the coaster is wet or slicker or...
Let's tell the story of the mountain coaster that we rode in the rain.
Well, I think
that one definitely it did have an impact.
yeah, that one definitely did get faster, and they actually
Okay, wow.
limit the weight on some of the
when it's wet.
some of the mountain
Okay,
coasters
compensate
because
for it? Okay.
yeah, I think it's more to probably for the brakes being able to
Yeah.
slow them down. So they
Okay.
probably do go a little bit faster, a little more difficult to slow.
Okay.
I think the rain always adds an element of speed
Sure.
to a ride. I don't know how much faster that will get, but on a wooden coaster in particular, because you're riding on a track that typically is greased, they will run faster
Yeah.
on warmer, hotter days.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
later in the day as well.
So, like your description, I somebody was talking about riding late in the day on a roller coaster.
Right.
That's when you're going to get that fastest ride after the ride's been thoroughly heated up.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
At the beginning of the day,
Metal and stuff and traction.
Yeah.
mostly I think just the wheels being greased up and
Yeah.
some of that's temperature sensitive. I
Right.
think.
If it's a cooler day, like the first few hours, it's warming up.
It
and
might
then when
be might feel a little sluggish.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then wooden coasters especially, I think, kind of have their attitudes can kind of change through the day.
Yeah.
They're kind of more they're more picky. I don't know how else you would describe that. Temperamental. Yeah.
Mhm.
They kind of personality.
Yeah.
They definitely have a personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
We
that.
work with a lot of personalities.
It's exactly
I don't doubt that.
It's hot in the
wooden
classroom,
coasters.
It's cold in the classroom.
Wooden coasters are the middle schoolers of the coaster world.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Perfect connection.
Yeah. I like that. I like
There you
that
go.
dynamic. There we go.
And,
Sometimes.
Yeah. It's gonna go the rise. It's gonna
Downs,
drop.
yes.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Yeah, very good. Yep. Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna take notes on all those things. It's good. Cool.
Excellent.
Did you want to bring up amusement parks in general now? Is just like
Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
flavor
We,
thing, like
We can discuss that as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
yeah. Well,
We've been to a couple.
Yeah.
One or two.
Yeah.
Well, right, and we were talking about like, amusement park, and then theme parks. Like, like I was saying, like when I never, like I think the lay person would say they're, like, oh, one and the same, but realizing the theme is very specified,
right.
with like places like like Disney and whatnot, and and then they have like I don't know, call like then you have the mega parks, like Disney World, Disneyland, and then you have like what they classify it as like more regional, like Six Flags, Hershey Park, Busch Gardens, those sorts of ones. So, I've been like in. I forget. I gotta find the one. I thought it was Ridgewood, New Jersey, but I forget. It's been so long ago. It's the Retainer Loser park, but
Still sitting there under that coaster.
so you talked about what was it Dollywood, right? It's like a unique one, never really heard of.
It's Dolly Parton's.
Yep.
personal
Dolly-
whatever,
Yeah,
They are actually owned by a corporate chain, sort of like Six Flags.
Okay.
But it's a smaller corporate chain.
okay.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, Dolly Parton has kind of made that park around.
Yeah. Oh,
The
definitely.
theming at that park is fantastic. I
It
wouldn't
is.
really call it a theme park. Maybe it is.
It's in that direction.
Yeah,
More
Right.
so than your average Six Flags park for sure.
but
Right.
it's unique. I mean, so one of the things I loved about that park was the first time my wife and I went, we were there on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and we discovered there was a little chapel in the park,
Oh,
What?
and they held a church service.
yeah.
That's cool.
And so the church service was they had a volunteer minister come out from a local area,
Very unique.
and they asked for people who were sitting in the service
Yeah.
if they wanted to come up and sing in the choir. So my wife went up and sang in the choir, and we're sitting in an amusement park
Why
at a
not?
church
I
service.
mean, yeah. See, like,
How unique is that? I mean,
That's so unique. Yeah, that's
Sure.
not, it's not like like an entertainment show. Like at Six Flags in New England. How they have, like George, they have like the people who do like sing and there's the swimming and they're jump diving. Like that's what you
Oh,
get, but like
shows.
not like a chapel.
yeah,
Like,
no, this is
that's-
it's very unique. There's a few parks that still have some of those that have a chapel or in some of the parks. I think sometimes they're built into like those storybook land.
Yeah,
areas.
yeah.
There's that at the Great Escape even.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, where they had like the gunfight and the sheriff and
Yes.
that's
Oh, yeah.
classic.
Yeah,
Wild Windy Bill McKay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
Classics. Yep. I really do wish they'd bring that back. I don't know. Every time I go there, I'm like, it's not the same without the
Yeah.
chasing the bank robbers.
So you can get
Right.
a little bit of that out at Niagara Amusement Park out near Buffalo.
Okay.
They bring it back.
I think they're running that Wild West show.
Yeah.
So they actually have the guy falling off of the roof and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
It's
A lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. They rerun that show multiple times.
That's-
I don't think anybody ever did it as well as
Nah, he was a legend.
Wild
Yeah.
Windy. I think
Yep.
I got that right. Wild
Yes,
Windy
Wild-
Bill
yes.
McKay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
He was doing that. I think 50 years.
Yeah, no.
His entire,
Sure.
pretty much his entire life.
That's my whole childhood going to see that show. Great Escape, if you're listening, I'm free in the summer, so
Right.
I'll be the bank robber. I'll be the scared townsfolk.
I've got some contact. We've got some contacts there.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
pass it along.
Yeah, beautiful.
But you're talking about classic, types of parks too.
Yeah.
I think you've got those bigger chains like Six Flags and Cedar Fair.
Yeah.
Cedar Fair owns Cedar Point and Dorney
Right,
Park, the Six Flags chain around the world. You've got SeaWorld
SeaWorld,
Which
they
is-
own Busch Gardens and
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
and the SeaWorld. Yep.
SeaWorld parks.
Yeah,
No,
that's
SeaWorld was still around after the controversy with the work on.
They've definitely rebranded. They've definitely
Okay.
leaned in more to the amusement park and less
Gotcha.
towards the animal
the
stuff.
aquatics, yeah.
Well, but I also do think they do a lot of conservation efforts as
Yeah,
well.
right.
They do.
And-
yeah.
and
Right.
No, it's great.
Unique, and it's a unique concept.
It is.
Like spinning a park around that
Right.
is really cool.
And then they've got you've got a lot of the smaller family-owned parks.
Right.
Knoebels. for
Knoebels is
example.
one.
Okay.
Little America. I don't know if they're family-owned, but that's this little
yes,
park
they
in Wisconsin that has a couple of smaller coasters. But that's kind of goes to Danny. One of Danny's pieces of advice: if you're at an amusement park and they have a train, what do?
You always ride the train.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so this goes to Little America. It's this little tiny park, like probably no bigger than your average fair carnival.
Yep.
And they had a little train. So we were like, we got nothing else to do. Let's ride the train.
Right.
We rode the train. It's about, what would you say, like 20, 30-minute ride.
3 miles, I think.
You go way out and you see stuff like zebras and farms, and it takes you out into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
You're going
Yeah.
through the woods. You're
So
going
unexpected.
through themed areas.
We assumed it
I was
just went
stunned.
around the park.
Yeah. Right.
Nope, it went way off the park property. It
Yeah.
was like the next county.
Yeah.
Like, it
Stop
just
in
kept
local
going.
McDonald's,
Yeah.
picking up a snack on the
Pretty
way.
much, yeah.
It's a crazy
Driver
surprise.
Yeah.
So the lesson
Teamwork
learned
here.
in that is always ride the train.
Yeah, I like that, and it's the same at Six Flags. What do you call it? Like the parasail,
Oh,
or like
yeah,
the
trapeze.
what do you, they go you I forgot where the location.
Which the one in New Jersey or
I'm sorry, up in Lake George.
Yeah.
oh the swings
Sky
ride
The swings, yeah, what they call them
The
swings.
slow
Flying
moving one?
trapeze?
Yeah,
Is it
they-
Sky
yeah.
Ride?
Trapeze, yeah.
Oh, Skyride.
Sky Ride, yeah,
Sky
I
Ride.
forgot. Yeah, I know they
Yeah.
rebranded.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun,
Carpet or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's unique too. I think like the train, like these sky rides, because it gives you like when you're first getting into a park and you've never been there before, everyone is a different type of learner. You're looking at a map. I don't know where things are, but that gives you a great vantage point. A train ride gives you a little tour of the area. So like, oh, that's where that is. Okay, I go here to there. And if you're trying to like make the most of your day, at Disney World, that was the big thing. Is just like thank the Lord, my father-in-law. He's like, I guess if they have like Disney fan clubs, like he'd be one of them. He celebrated probably 8 or 10 birthdays at Disney World. Like that's how many times he's even done it with just adults one time. But he had a plan. He had to plan out with the bigger ones, the bigger amusement parks. Things I found out is that you really got to plan your day to make the most of your money because you're spending Disney. Taking a family. $3,500 plus. You have airfare. You have food. You have all these things, and these local parks. Like Six Flags and Busch Gardens and all. Hershey Park. All they make it more accessible. And that was the big thing that I've come across. Did I appreciate everything at Disney? Was I jaw dropped in Star Wars Land? Yes. I was like,
well, who would be jaw dropped?
I have a picture. Let's see if I can
build your own lightsaber now.
I'm gonna reveal what's behind the curtain here. Right there.
What's he got?
Oh,
there you go.
There you go.
Millennium Falcon, right? They played that. I forgot the name of the game they played there, right? But that was it.
All you got to know for that game is let the Wookiee win.
But I mean that sort of was like really really fun there. But the local part make it more accessible, right? And it's like I could go there in a day, spend a night somewhere and not have to like.
I mean, I would love to do Disney, but we kind of balance. It's that balance, for us. If we're spending a week doing something, let's crank up our schedule and go get 50 coasters.
Yeah.
Right.
6 different parks.
Right.
Not saying that we haven't done that, but that may be on the low end of things. Some trips, and you come home, you're exhausted from that. But I can do that, or I could spend that same amount of time and I get 3 days at Disney. So
right.
It's a balance. I would love to go out to Disney. I just there's so many other coasters out there.
One day.
We're bang for our buck.
Well, right. That's exactly. And that's what I think a majority of people are. I mean.
It's just the name, the draw.
This was
we'll get there someday.
Yeah. and I went, with my in-laws, and that made it a lot easier. So going with someone highly recommended.
When you guys have kids, you can bring grandma and grandpa along with you.
Yes.
Pay us back for all those trips that we took you on.
Yes.
There you go.
I think that's a
deal.
Great.
I want to shake on that. All right.
Yes,
all right there you
got
go.
this.
It's on camera.
Right there.
That.
Got that.
It's locked in.
I knew there's value coming on this podcast, right?
We'll send you a copy, and you can pull it up in a couple of
minutes. Yeah, I'm noting the timestamp on that.
Standard eggs, sugar up your kids, and gives it back to you guys. That's how it works out.
There we go. It's interesting. Like you were talking about, what was the one park that had free parking? Knoebel, right? So now I don't know. I'm not. Don't hold me to like credibility on this fact, but someone told me that Disney makes enough. Like, so we did our thing. Like we took the monorail in, which is its own little cool thing for Disney. It was like a train up on stilts that takes you all, or a subway up on stilts that takes you all around different parks. So we never had to drive, but like when we taken that monorail, or taking a bus from our resort to that whatever park, I was looking at these parking lots. I mean, cities could have fit in these parking lots.
Yeah.
And they had said that the money they make from parking pays a majority of their employees. Like the amount that they make from parking alone. I mean, that's not even factoring in, like what the cost of admission is on the daily.
Right.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a math guy, but that was pretty clear what was going on. Like, wow.
That's when you look for some of those deals.
Yes.
So, in my mind, that's one of those worthy investments on a season pass. So we have Six Flags season passes and, part of our memberships actually, but, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And always make sure, yes, I want the parking included in that.
Sure.
And sometimes if you get those season passes or memberships early on, you know, if you go purchase that in September when they're selling them for the upcoming year,
Good
you
point.
may get parking thrown in for free with that, or, you know, a no additional charge. And, you know, at $20-$30 a pop for a visit, you make that money back pretty quickly. I mean, you save that money pretty quickly. So look for those deals like that. You know, get in early on season passes.
Sure.
That kind of stuff will help defray some of those costs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even want to think about what it would cost to park for Disney.
No,
find those good resort deals if you can, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I know, like, my father was military, so he his place that we stayed, Shades of Green, was now classified as a Disney resort, which was, if you're on a Disney resort, the beauty of that is that you can get to arrive and get on rides earlier than a person just came for the day and parked.
A lot of parks do that, yeah.
So, which is so nice. So because there's like it's a whole other conversation, like fast passes and all that stuff. But so then you can hop on all like the busy rides, you know, like with Space Mountain was a huge ride, you know, like, so we got there. I mean, the sun just rising, drinking a coffee, and boom, we're like second in line in Space Mountain. We were just zipping through, going under the rails and getting in there. Like, boom, we're done. And then as we exit the park, I mean, people are out, like, and it's like in the sweat zone, you know, like just hot. So being smart about, you know, like prioritizing, you know, which ride. And I mean, I learned so much, you know, like, so when I go back decades down the road, but my kids have kids, I'll have a little more experience in that. But my father-in-law was clutch in that.
Well, and that's why we a lot of times will try to get in those big amusement parks on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Thursday, middle of the week. So our game plan is
roll into it too. Sometimes on an overcast day, crowds are lower.
Yeah, we were just out at Darien Lake, Six Flags Darien Lake, on Memorial Day. And I bet there weren't even 500 people in the park.
Really?
The day prior, there was 20,000 people in the park. Now, there's two reasons for that. It was a bit of a rainy day, but not a washout. I mean, we had
it rained at the beginning, and then
and then intermittent drizzle.
Right.
And it was a little gloomy, you know, maybe, but
bonus.
We got on all the rides that we wanted to that day. And then in addition, it was Memorial Day itself. And little hint.
Picnics and barbecues,
yeah, I would say the best day. This is my opinion. I don't have any data to prove it other than
experience.
And I don't think it's true for every park. It probably doesn't. You know, you get into the big, like, Universal Disney, they're probably busy every day of the week.
Yeah.
A lot of times. For a lot of parks, Memorial Day, that Monday, is a really quiet day to park. We've been kicked out of the park early a couple of times. Not kicked out, but they've closed the park early because they had more staff there than people. I can recall walking through Six Flags America down near DC on a Memorial Day weekend, and we were the only public, members of the public in sight.
Oh, wow.
And the park was supposed to be open till 9 or 10 that night, and they closed at like 7.
Yeah.
Well, we'd already hit everything that we wanted to like 3 or 4 times. So
you're golden.
We're
I got my phone.
I'm good.
No problem. You guys go home, relax for the night. And
But that's why when we go out to, we're going out to Busch Gardens next week for Thursday, Friday. We'll leave Wednesday, and then after he does his little senior walkthrough, and
I know
makes all his former teachers cry, all of that.
Yeah.
And we're going to head out to Busch Gardens. We'll do Busch Gardens probably that Thursday.
Yep.
Maybe King's Dominion on Friday if the weather holds out. And you're absolutely right. Look for those good deals. So, like, I'm a veteran. Veterans, if you go early in the season, you can get free tickets, 4 free tickets at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
Well, it's
and good deals on meal plans and things like that. Look for those kind of deals. If you're a member of a union, maybe your union will have costs. Cheaper tickets, discounts.
Yeah, definitely. Educators, sometimes we get like various
those
things.
Education days are good days to get.
Yeah.
Well,
those
sometimes can be a good day if the park's open late enough. You wait till all the kids have gone back to school. You got the park to yourself.
Timing is everything. Yeah. Dealing with like a little bit of like like a gloominess for the benefit of like just literally like you could just take your time, leisurely walk, not any lines.
Well,
That's-
we'll ride in any weather. I mean,
Right.
As long as it's open.
Oh, we've
as
got-
long as it's
we've got
open.
crazy
Now,
weather.
what okay, is there anything outside of like the obvious lightning and thunder,
Sure.
but like is there anything else that would close a coaster or
I mean, temperatures, depending on the ride,
Okay.
temperatures can have an impact. There may be temperature limits on
Wind.
what a coaster.
okay.
Wind limits on a lot of
Yeah.
coasters. You know,
Especially
Yeah.
launch coasters,
Sure.
a lot of
Like,
launch roller coasters.
You don't want
Yeah.
to go slingshotting into
Yeah,
space
right.
or anything.
well,
Or-
if you're launching up a hill, so you see this sometimes on King Ka or used to be on Top Thrill. You'll launch, but maybe not make it all the way up the hill, and then come
Okay.
back down the hill. Perfectly
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's designed
So-
to be able to do that.
actually,
right.
we've wanted to get those. They call it a rollback.
yeah.
We've never gotten a rollback like that.
Sure.
Now you'll be able to do that on Top Thrill. They actually intentionally roll you back.
Okay.
Very interesting.
But
That's
those kind of things can happen. So the weather conditions can affect that. I don't think we've ever ridden. Have we ridden in snow? Maybe in snow. I have actually ridden.
Yes, yeah, we have ridden this now.
So I have not ridden. I have ridden in a thunderstorm, not
Wow.
intentionally. So
okay.
I got on the longest. My wife and I were in line for the longest roller coaster, wooden roller coaster,
So,
the Beast. It's got 2 lift hills. It's a huge wooden roller coaster out
Wow.
in Kings Island, out in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yep.
And
they're there.
my wife and I were in the front of the line. Got sat down in front of the coaster, and I saw a lightning bolt stab down.
Yeah.
Heard
What do
the
they?
phone ring, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, they're
Yep,
shutting it
kick
down.
yourself, Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah.
but realistically thinking, yeah, I don't really want to ride it in a thunderstorm.
Yeah, seriously.
And then I heard the words dispatch,
Oh.
and the guy pick up the phone behind me.
Get him
And
through
so-
quick.
Yeah.
So he never knew. He didn't know. I mean, he was just doing his job, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, this coaster has 2 lift hills.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be on this ride as this thunderstorm rolls in.
Right. Right.
That was a little more exciting than I wanted, maybe.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh man, I'd be a little bit extra scared.
I'm sure the storm was far enough away we were perfectly safe, but it was generally, yeah. If you have lightning in the area, and keep in mind this is before you had cell phones with lightning warnings on them.
Oh, right,
We're
right.
talking 25 years ago, So
Right.
Right. And
um,
nowadays, instant.
nowadays they shut those down immediately, and pretty much every ride in the park. if
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a thunderstorm
safety
in the area.
first.
But yeah, I don't recommend riding in sleet.
No.
Yeah,
I've
No.
done it. That's not fun.
hurts.
No.
Ski goggles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, at a high enough speed, rain hurts.
Oh, yeah,
So-
sure.
And yeah, but it does. Yeah, yeah. I can imagine. Like I remember,
Sandblasted.
I was riding my bike home the other day, and we had like a half day with no kids. And I'm like, oh, I'll ride my bike in, and on the way home, something I thought it was a bee, but a bug hit me right in my lip when I was going like 25, 30 miles an hour. It hurt.
Sure.
I thought I got stung because it just lined up, and your lips are extra sensitive. And I was like, oh, what was that
I
thing?
did on a coaster. I got stung on a roller coaster.
You got stung.
Did.
Oh
That was not a good day.
no.
For a
No.
variety of reasons.
Yeah. Awesome.
They can't all be good, but most of
But they're memorable. They're
Yeah.
memorable.
Right.
I would say some
Everybody.
of those bad experiences are just as memorable as the good ones, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you laugh about them later.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you can live to laugh about it, right? You know.
Exactly.
Excellent. Any I want to say thank yous for everyone coming on.
We've got a special surprise for you guys.
Oh.
Oh, man.
So I have a few extras of these. The park, these are limited edition.
Okay.
So I'll just
Are we
open.
speaking our language as collectors?
So I
Yes,
heard.
yes.
Have you both ridden Alpine bobsled?
Of course, yeah.
I believe.
So-
Yeah, I don't remember
I
when.
was always so
What?
proud to get the Jamaican because of cool runnings. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, you can still find a bobsled in New York.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a very different ride. But if you go to Seabreeze Amusement Park, they have a bobsled themed roller coaster there that they built in house,
Okay, no kidding.
Okay.
modified in house, and it's very different. It doesn't ride on
One of
it.
those earlier
Yeah,
tubular
Yeah,
steel
it's a
coasters.
tubular steel coaster. Well, here's a little medal that they created.
Oh, man.
On the back, it says
Oh.
retired September 4th, 2023.
Oh, no kidding.
So we were at that event. We got to walk up the lift hill.
One of the
Yeah.
last rides.
One of the last rides.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
Oh,
we
thank
got
you
one
so
for
much.
you,
This means
Oh,
and we've got one for you.
Thank you.
I used to run to this ride.
yes.
Run to it, get
Oh, we
to
loved
run
it.
2 or 3
Oh
times.
my gosh.
It was tough to see that one
I
go,
know it was. Yep.
but I'll tell you what, Bobcat is a phenomenal.
Okay, it's a
Good.
worthy replacement.
From
Yeah,
bobsled
it
to
is.
Bobcat,
Worthy
it's
replacement.
Oh,
a-
yeah.
it's a worthy replacement.
Yes. Oh, very
Oh,
good.
thank
so
you.
much.
This
Yes,
is
amazing.
great.
So yeah, the park gave us a bunch of those, and I'm like, well, we got to bring a couple too.
Yeah. I have a personal collection at home of like Great Escape memorabilia, souvenir
there you
cups.
go.
Perfect. There you
Oh,
go.
I
my
was
gosh.
searching forever for the old vintage vintage park maps posters you could buy.
All right.
So I was looking forever for the one from like '94 when the comic came there.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Van Ween's brother finally tracked it
yes.
down on eBay for me.
Oh, did you? Oh, nice.
This will be hung with pride. With
Oh,
my
man.
Great Escape
Nice.
collection. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Very
Wow.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it seems like so long ago.
The good old days. Yes.
1998.
98, yes.
And I'd be
10th
remiss.
grade, yes.
I'd be remiss if I didn't tell people how to, join ACE, join American
Yeah, of
Coaster
course.
Enthusiasts.
I'm going to look into
Yeah.
it. I mean,
So-
tiptoe my way back into coasters. But
Yeah.
So I'm actually the regional rep for for New York region, which is we used to have a New York City region and a New York State region. We recently merged those regions into a single region.
Yep.
So I've got a great regional rep team that works with me. We've got events planned coming up. We're going to have an event at Seabreeze on July 20th.
Okay.
If either you guys want to come to that, certainly come as a guest. I mean, there's a little cost to that, but
Oh, that's all right.
I think it's going to be in the range of $45-$50. But we do exclusive ride time on the coasters before the park opens.
Nice.
We're also planning an ACE event, hopefully for Great Escape on the Bobcat. I don't have any details on that yet,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
can't share that yet. But
Brandon Veiling, yes.
that you
Yeah.
might have to be an ACE member to attend. I'm not sure. I don't know what the deal is going to be with that.
Okay.
Each region in ACE has to holds typically at least one, if not many events throughout the region throughout the year. We also have a week-long event called CoasterCon, which
Nice.
Tim's trying to talk me into because it's going to be in the Midwest next year where he's going to college. So maybe we'll go out to
That's a perfect
CoasterCon.
reason to visit and say, hey,
Yeah, there you go.
This is awesome.
Let's hit a few.
So we've got a Preservation Con, Spring Con, Summer Con sometime. So preservation's a big part of American Coaster Enthusiast role. We like to, especially the wooden roller coasters, but a lot of the classic steel roller coasters. So if you go and you look at a coaster like the Comet, you'll see a plaque from ACE on there that is a
I'll look
ACE
for
landmark coaster.
Just one next to Comet.
There's one right out front of Comet.
Yeah.
I
there's
think
a
I
plaque
remember
right
seeing
there.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never seen it. I'll have to look for it next time.
And if you're in other amusement parks, you may see those plaques on a wide variety of other roller coasters as well.
Great.
One of those parks in our region, Seabreeze. You mentioned the Cyclone at Coney Island. That's classic coaster.
iconic, yeah.
Right.
Seabreeze has, I think it's probably the oldest operating coaster right now in the world or in the U.S. In the U.S.
Wow.
It's 104 years old. The Jackrabbit there. It's a great coaster. Love that one. So you can become a member. You just go to aceonline.org. aceonline.org. I think it's ridewithace.com.
Okay.
Or just Google American Coaster Enthusiast. You'll find us. We're the world's largest roller coaster and amusement park enthusiast group. We've got probably a few thousand members.
Wow.
And love to have more members join.
Yeah.
These guys have been acers your entire life since you were knee-high to grasshoppers. And come join us. We love to have more people come out and ride with us.
Wow.
Very cool.
A lot of fun events.
Learn something new every day.
I know.
never knew that existed.
No, I know. I think that's why we love having people on that where we lack information. We flip the tables as teachers and become learners, and
Share passions. Yeah.
Well, I loved hearing your stories too. I know the boys did too. We're going to be talking about this for a few more days afterwards.
Yeah. I will definitely share it out, and so you guys can get to.
to come up with poll questions and different content to post online. So
Yeah, definitely.
for all that.
So I'll be sharing the podcast with ACE members as
Very
well.
cool. Awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
and been the first students.
Yeah, there you go. I know.
You guys were.
We have a lot of kids that want to come on and talk
Yeah.
about randomness, but Mr. Blaze and I are not getting any younger, so we're like, we don't really know what you're talking about.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we had an episode. Are we still cool?
Yeah.
And we did polls and stuff like that.
It was
So
very a hard, self-reflective look.
it was.
Well,
Like,
you guys, I think you vote in favor of cool, right?
Oh, for sure.
Cool.
yeah.
Check.
All right.
So we got it. All right.
Yeah, we got.
we'll give you the
go.
pass.
I'll let
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
at 18 and almost 16, that they might be passing cool themselves. So
Right.
almost introspective time.
Right.
Yes.
And like the verbiage, you know, like we could say, like, are you, you know, Mr. Blaze, you're dripping. I'm like, I'm dripping? What's that? Do I need to go see somebody about that? What's going on here? I know a good plumber. Doctor, plumber, I'm not sure. What do we want to talk? No, your outfit looks good. Oh, okay. It's good to be dripping then. So I'm happy to be dripping today. Thank you.
Until next week when that changes.
Yes. When I injure myself somehow again.
Do a Gen Z slang episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Seriously,
Just educate people because I think it's a very organic, constantly
I'm
changing.
doing one today, but I can't remember it right now. So
Right. Yeah. Thank goodness for UrbanDictionary.com.
Translate. Yes.
Yeah, that should be a new Google Translate feature, like an urban slang. You know, like, are you speaking with a child? Okay. Oh, yes. That's a yes for that. Or no.
Well, that's the nice thing about coasters and amusement parks. They can transcend
absolutely
from the youngest to the oldest.
Right. It breaks down all like the barriers and all that. So excellent.
Very cool. Yes. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
And I
us.
will let you know when I get back on the coasters. So that's my summertime homework. So.
Yeah, I mean, right in time. We got all the information you need prepped, and if you have any questions, we can,
of course,
reach out to the local experts. We have 3.
Very cool.
So
we could find you a few more too.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much, guys, and and happy riding.
Please, raise your hands and watch the lift gate, and stay seated while the rides are.
Low circles. Put your phones away.
Yes. Enjoy.
Very cool. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.
Take care.
Later.